Welcome to Dave Talks Some More, the podcast at the intersection of humor and, Hey, I'm your host, Dave, and together we'll explore a riveting world of mundane topics with unparalleled
You can't untangle
indifference. So get ready for a riveting journey.
I can't hear a damn thing.
Whatever.
Whatever.
Dave
That's all I
Talks Some
wanted to
More.
hear. I just needed the mic, the headphones for that, so I could hear the whatever.
I swear. Hey, welcome, hey, everybody far out. Thanks for joining us, but I swear the first 5 minutes before we hit record is always the best.
Premium content, baby.
Premium content. We just had 5 minutes of camera fun with Sean's movie star good looks. And none of it is going to be in the roll. So
No, it's not.
That's too bad.
That's on the cutting room floor.
Could have made TikTok famous, but no, it's all gone anyway. Hey, welcome to our daily subtropical rainstorms. It's every day about 3 o'clock. All of a sudden it gets dark and the rain pours for 45 minutes, and then it's just muggy and clear.
The grass
and hot
is loving
as hell.
it.
The grass loves it. Once a year for about a month, I think it must be great to be in the lawn cutting business, which I was in high school and made, just so much money.
You can make a lot of money.
Make a lot of money. You know, those guys that are like high school dropouts and they're rolling around with a trailer with 10 weed eaters and, 4 zero-turn lawnmowers. They're living in the nice house, with the reunion, stucco house, and they cut grass for a living 7-8 months out of the year. And then the rest of the time, they're just messing around on TikTok looking for you and not finding.
Then they're doing leaf work and they're
Right.
putting down pine straw and making the yard look good even during the wintertime.
And, the business that would really make a lot of money is the putting up and taking down Christmas lights. Probably a little dangerous. Probably need a little more insurance for that. But that's our investment idea for the day. I can jump right into it because I can't tell if this is going to be an entire hour talking about all the updates on the Epstein List. And really, this feels like a topic that has got so much going on in it that I don't want to run out of time on this. And I know you've got opinions about it. I'll give you the first shot if you want it. But I have I have, to me, very interesting thoughts about it.
Well, let's hear your cue me up. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, maybe what I should do is provide the update for those wise few who don't follow the news. We had Pam Bondi come out on, was it Friday, and said there is no Epstein List, and we're not releasing any documents.
Friday a week ago.
Was it Friday a week ago? Okay, maybe
because it's been going on all week long.
Yeah, and it's Friday a week ago. Said there is no list. B, any records and materials that we have are suffused with child pornography, and we, and I guess I'm condensing her statement to say we have a concern that we don't want to release materials that would just victimize people that have already been victimized. So I understood her to be saying, and now I am officially concluding all Jeffrey Epstein, whatever. This is after, in February, you'll remember, she said that she had the materials on her desk, that she was reviewing it, that it was explosive. And then they did that weird thing with the white binders. You remember?
Well, that was beforehand. But she said, in response to a question, this is on Fox News. She said, in response to a question about the list, she said, "It's on my desk to review."
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. She said there was a list. She
now
confirmed
she's
there was a
saying
list.
that it means the file, not it. It does not mean the list. It means the file.
So think of that what you will. Apparently, there's quite a fight going on in the Justice Department as to what are we going to do with this thing, and are we really just going to call it a day? And then was it last night, sometime Saturday, you get this really long tweet from Trump that was kind of all over the place, saying there is no list, it was made up. And if there was a list, his enemies would have used it against him, but there is no list. And also the list is like he acknowledged that the list exists and that it was compiled by his political enemies, but also there is no list. And, pretty much saying after, you're right, it was a week ago with Pam Bondi, I don't want to hear any more about it. We need to all, get behind my decision or Pam's decision that this is as far as the Epstein stuff goes.
No, I'll tell you when
it was.
It was on Sunday.
So, okay.
It was the day of our podcast because it hit on a non-news day.
Yeah.
And so Monday it was like it just erupted.
Yeah, I thought we talked about it a little bit last week.
Maybe.
It didn't really hit it. But
did
anyway.
y'all see Barron Trump's post about the?
No.
Well, no, that was Barron Trump news. It's not an actual account of Barron Trump. But I was going to, I was going to make a reference to that. I mean, first of all, let me just say this. I 100% believe there is a list because the truth of the matter is this guy was arrested for child trafficking, for essentially using minors as sex slaves for rich and wealthy men. That's what he went to jail for. And so you're telling me that you have an island of information, literally an island, his sex island. You've got his place there in Manhattan.
And then the other place that's out.
And you had enough information to establish probable cause to put his ass in jail. What was that probable cause? And are you telling me that, that was just for one person and it was only one person? Well, no. I mean, when he was arrested, it was, he's been doing this for years. There's,
multiple victims.
There's multiple victims. And then you had all these people that were suing. And so, then they're suing, there's settlements, there's NDAs. Well, clearly there are people that are using him. Of course, now we know Prince Andrew. I mean, he was involved in a settlement regarding
one of the victims,
Jeffrey, who is now deceased, shockingly. So there is a list. I mean, there are clients that are out there, and I believe they 100% know that. So why hasn't it been disclosed? Well, I truly don't believe that Donald Trump is on it because all of this happened when Biden was president, right?
Yeah, the story came out during Biden's presidency.
I mean, he was arrested and then died during Biden's presidency, correct?
Right.
And so, if there was something on there for Trump, because remember when it first hit, it was like, he and Donald Trump were friends. You're telling me that the Democrats, if they knew that he was on there, that they wouldn't have 100% used that?
Yes, and the answer to that question is yes. Under some theories, which is that there's a lot of names on that list, both blue and red, and I don't think for a second that. Well, I agree with you that there is a list. I don't think that list will ever see the light of day any more than the original Kennedy assassination documents. I know there was a release. I believe there was a whole lot more out there. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying the CIA did anything, but I don't think that list, the true list, is ever going to come out because the speculation is there's a lot of red names, there's a lot of blue names, there's a lot of other connected people, and there's no party or group that has the ability to or the access to the information that can release it without throwing a lot of mud on its own principles, PALS, the higher ups. And so the thinking is, how do I throw this grenade in your camp without simultaneously throwing it into my camp? And so both sides have kind of said, we're just going to leave this thing alone.
So
That's a theory.
Did you see the video I sent you this week about Alan Dershowitz?
Yes.
Which, shockingly to me, I mean,
go ahead and describe what was in that video.
I will in just a second, but shockingly to me, it was only picked up by thehill.com.
Right.
I mean, it was not picked up by mainstream media, but The Hill is a reputable, Washington politics news source. It provides essentially non-biased Republican and Democratic news, all news that's federal government every single day. And so they've got TV shows. As a matter of fact, they have an hour-long show on News Nation every night at like 4 PM. And so they were the only one that really picked up and covered the story. Sean Spicer is the one who interviewed him. And as you may remember, Sean Spicer was Trump's original, or one of Trump's original press secretaries.
Right.
And so Sean Spicer is a reputable guy as well. And so he has this video and he's on there and he says, when I was going through the criminal process to clear my name, this is what Alan Dershowitz says.
Because remember, Dershowitz had been accused of being a client of Epstein.
And this was around the time that all the news about Prince Andrew came out.
Right.
Okay, so the story is hitting. Dershowitz is out there. He wants to clear his name because of who he is, and he goes through the process to legally do that. And then all of a sudden, there's gag orders, there's NDAs, and well, this guy obviously saw, and he says, "I have seen the list, or I have seen a number of people that are on the list, and all of those people are being suppressed." And they will never see the light of the day. And of course, Sean Spicer's like, well, are these just wealthy people, or these politicians, or these random people? And of course, his response was all of the above.
Yeah.
And I do believe that. Now, separately from that, you had Tucker Carlson. Did you see his video?
Oh God, I spare me Tucker Carlson for the rest of my life.
But have you seen it?
Yes.
Okay.
I saw it. I watched it. The guy just loves to throw accusations out there with no evidence whatsoever.
Well, whether he's
such a propagandist.
Well, whether it's true or not, he made a statement that was very interesting to me, and that was he said, it has been known and talked about around D.C. for quite some time that this was the product of a foreign government using him to get information on others, and he's
he went further than that.
Well, I know, but he's like, no one wants to say who it is because everyone's afraid that they're going to be called anti-Semitic, whatever. But basically it's Israel. And so
he basically said Epstein was working for Mossad, almost acted like he was an agent of Mossad, being the Israeli kind of CIA, and saying, look, Epstein was a Mossad project to get blackmail on all these important people, which is just, I mean, enough with that.
That seems silly to me, but
well,
the fact that there are people,
it doesn't seem silly to the people who are obsessed with the idea that the Jews are running Hollywood and the international banking system, and who will attribute running the world to the Jews and to Israel. So of course, if you think that way, which I don't, but the people who think that way, of course, it's easy for them to say, yeah, trafficking in underage girls, sure, Jews do it all the time. That's the kind of sick attitude, and it's just, and he's got no evidence, and then says everybody in D.C. knows it. Everybody, come on, man. Come on.
Well, I don't really buy the conspiracy, but I do think that there are legitimate questions that he raised in his video that need to be answered, and that is, how in the F did this guy make his billions? Where'd that money come from?
Where did he get his start?
I mean,
don't know.
He basically had no background to ever do anything, and all of a sudden he went from nothing to a billionaire. I I mean, that just doesn't happen out of nowhere. And clearly, he's got, he was running in circles that we know for a fact involved Bill Clinton. I mean, he flew on his plane. We know that, Bill Gates flew on his plane. These guys flew on his plane multiple times.
Gates admitted that.
Yeah, he absolutely did.
But to say there's an enormous difference between saying we don't know how Epstein got his start in the millionaire underage prostitution business and saying, oh, we do know. And we know that it's Israel. We know that it was Mossad. That's a hell of a leap.
I agree with you
to justify
there.
it on the basis of, well, since we don't know, it must have been Israel because, of course, that's the only bad actor in the world. I mean, there's, why wouldn't it have been a Russian scheme? Why wouldn't it have been, name it?
Sure.
Or why wouldn't it be somebody who just figured out a way, and we don't know how he got his start, but he did get his start, and he just built up his child prostitution empire more or less on his own, and it gathered its own momentum, and he was a very successful, I don't even know what to call it, rapist for children. Enough with Tucker Carlson.
Here's what I believe. I believe that when Pam Bondi really started looking at the list, I think they realized, oh shit, this list is something that never needs to see the light of day, which is why it had been suppressed under Biden's administration.
That is because it's going to set off so many hand grenades.
And
who knows where it ends? That's the theory.
Right. But I still don't believe that Trump was on there because Trump, that was part of his campaign.
Yeah.
And of course, Bondi and Patel, oh, yes, we're going after it. Yes, 100%. If Trump was on that list, I don't think that he would have been pushing that as hard as he was. And I don't think that the people in his administration would be taking such a public view and making these public statements. We are going to get the list. I mean, because if Trump knew that he was on there, why even make the call at all?
Why didn't even say anything about it?
Right. And so, anyway, I do believe that there are people that are on there that they have the money, the influence, and the means to basically say, you better not ever release this.
Well, the other thing we haven't talked about is the bizarre video that didn't need to be released, but was supposed to be the closed circuit camera video
of his jail cell.
Of Epstein's jail cell. And it had a minute missing from it, which it took about 10 seconds. It reminded me of the Kamala Harris McDonald's. Remember, she was an employee of McDonald's, and
yes.
They had the photo of her, and it took the internet like 10 seconds to find the original photo that was photoshopped to make it her. And so they released this closed circuit TV video, and it took the internet like 10 seconds to go, whoa, wait a minute. This is like Nixon's tape with a missing 20 minutes.
Have you heard
There's a missing minute.
Have you heard the
I haven't heard the explanation, no.
So
what is it?
Bondi and her, because, later this week, she issued another statement as well.
Right.
And so the explanation is that for some reason, every 24 hours, there's a reset.
Yeah.
And when it resets, it for some reason doesn't include that minute, but the video is out there, but there was nothing on it.
Yeah, nothing on it. So
that's totally, these are not the droids from Star Wars. I mean, they have totally screwed this up.
Yeah. Why did Jeffrey Epstein kill himself over a case for which there was no evidence? That's kind of the question everyone's
100%,
asking.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if someone did go in and kill him, let's just assume for the sake of argument that happened. Okay. And of course, Jeffrey Epstein's brother is out there on the airwaves, any show that'll bring him on there claiming his brother was murdered.
Let's get him on here.
Okay. So he's out there, he's saying this, and you have all this suspicion, you have this missing minute. Okay, well, if someone did murder them and the FBI knew it, right? And Pam Bondi's looking at it and she goes, well, if we acknowledge that he was murdered, then someone is going to say, who has the influence and the ability to do that and why? And so that just opens Pandora's box as to this list that doesn't exist.
Yeah, and at which point it's got to be full open kimono, total disclosure. I mean, we give up everything and put it into the public domain. They would have to. If they went so far as to admit that he was murdered, then there's no coming back from that.
And Bondi says, oh, there's thousands of videos and hours of videos, but it's all just
the closed cell door.
It's just porn, child porn.
Yeah, right.
Okay, it was his personal child porn.
With who?
Exactly.
Yeah. I mean, we don't need to see the victim.
I don't need to see the victim. Blur the victim out, blur the act out. But I want to see the picture of the person that's doing it, because that person needs to be arrested, whether or not it's a part of his list or whether it's just some porn that he procured off the dark web. Whoever is participating in that needs to be discovered and arrested and, strung up and hung, whatever, executed. I mean, clearly.
This past Friday, Peggy Noonan, her editorial was published, and she had a line that I was really surprised by that said, MAGA is obsessed with Epstein and the Epstein files. And I thought, why are you not obsessed with this? Because I don't think it's a red issue, a blue issue, conservative, liberal, South, West, Northeast. I don't think that there's any constituency of any description that isn't pretty well interested in, we want to see the truth come out on
I
this.
think, though, the MAGA obsession with it, I think that arose out of the totally debunked Pizzagate, the pedophile ring in Hollywood, which has been debunked. I mean, all of these, liberal elites that are, these child pedophiles. Remember QAnon, okay? Around the time that Trump lost and Biden came in, QAnon was out there claiming that there were Supreme Court justices, there were federal judges that were all supporting Biden, and they were preventing Trump from becoming president, and all of these people were protecting Epstein and all of the child pedophilia because they were involved in it. That was part of QAnon's, storyline.
Insane.
It's total insanity. But I think that's where the MAGA obsession came from. But I agree with you. It shouldn't matter what political party you're in. I mean, the truth of the matter is that if there's evidence or proof that someone's out there raping minors, whether they're male or female, we should be trying to find out who that is.
So Scott Adams posts what I thought was a really interesting question, which is, you have possibly competing interests of, on the one hand, you want the truth to come out just as a law and order. This was wrong, and the criminal law should do what it should do. That's on the one hand. On the other hand, as we've discussed, this is going to throw grenades all over the place, and you really don't know how it's going to land. If you're a person of the right, for example, if more grenades land in the red camp than in the blue camp, and if that results in suddenly the blues are in control of the Senate or the House or both because more reds got knocked out of this scandal, are you still pushing for, I don't care, let the chips fall where they may? Or do you take the competing interest of, there's a whole lot of good that comes out of if you're from this viewpoint, there's a whole lot of good that comes out of the red controlling the Congress. And so hate that it happened, but we can't unring that bell. But we would really hate to lose control of Congress because of this. And that's not my question. That's the question that he posed. And I thought it was an interesting one to say, what if that changes control of Congress? What if some of the people that are outed are international people, and it upsets, whatever peace accords we have or treaties that we have? That we don't know, we, the little people who don't know who's on the list, don't know what the full fallout would be. And you don't unring the bell by releasing the list. All you do is go forward with criminal prosecutions, which you really don't know how that's going to go. His question is, are you sure that you want to say, devil may care, let the chips fall, release the list, and come what may?
Well, and I know as lawyers, although you and I don't practice, I do a little criminal, but you and I really are not criminal defense lawyers, but we do understand criminal law. And the fact of the matter is that you may have a list of names, so to speak, that are on the list. Okay, so whoever that is, take your pick. Do you have actual proof that they went down to his house in Manhattan, or they went down to his island in the Caribbean, and that they actually raped a minor? Do you have that evidence? And if you don't have that evidence, you're not going to go after someone because you don't have the proof to actually get a conviction. And the last thing that you want is the blowback that comes from just ruining someone's life.
Yeah, because if you're
just
on that
because
list,
they're on the
that's it.
list.
Yeah.
And if you release that list,
that's it. That's a career ender.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm not defending those people, but as a prosecutor, you're supposed to make sure that you have the goods to arrest someone before you go and you do that.
And that was the gist of what Bondi was saying is the investigation and the prosecution has gone as far as it's going to go, and we're stopping it here. And instead of it just lingering, we'll go ahead and take the political hit, and everybody will be yelling and screaming about it for however long they yell and scream about it. But the midterms are well over a year away. And, it's kind of like when Joe decided we're pulling out of Afghanistan precipitously. He did it early enough in his administration. In fact, about this time in his administration 4 years ago, where it really wasn't that big of an issue in the midterms. What would that have been in 2022? Because it had happened in 2020 and COVID and everything else, and it was a scandal. But I don't know that it really cost them any votes because it happens so far away from an election, and that may have been the calculation here of this is a scandal that we're just saying it's over. But it happens so far away from an election that we can ride this out, and especially with Trump telling his base, y'all need to shut up and get behind me and let's go on with it.
Right.
Unconvincingly, but what else is he going to say?
Well, Danny made reference at the top of the show about this topic, and there was someone who, this is for Barron Trump News. This is actually not Barron Trump, but it's obviously a red person. They had a tweet that came out. Let's see. When was this? The 9th. So earlier this week. They claimed that someone a hacker, got the list. Okay. And the names on the list, they have people on there: Leonardo DiCaprio, Al Gore, Richard Branson, Stephen Hawking, which I've heard his name repeatedly with this. Well, I don't really know and understand.
Stephen Hawking doing a whole lot of
it's
lot of anything physical.
It's got,
come on.
Ehud Barak, former Israeli prime minister.
Well, anyway, look, it's
Michael Jackson,
yeah,
George
look, Sean,
Lucas. Hold on.
Sean.
But here's where it gets crazy. Kate Blanchett, Naomi Campbell,
Okay.
Heidi Klum.
Okay.
I mean, so it's got Robert F. Kennedy Jr.
Well, there's no point in just naming names. It's
Right,
This
no,
is
it's
all
a-
just the internet.
It's crazy,
vomiting up
which is it's
baseless
totally
accusations.
right. I'm just saying, but there are going to be people out there that are going to spread that kind of news, and they're going to make this stuff up. And but the truth of the matter, in my opinion, at this point, is that it's never going to be released under Donald Trump's administration.
or ever. And as to the idea that somebody pulled the list off the dark web, I don't think it's on the dark web. And let me tell you something.
I don't either.
Let me tell
I
you
don't
something.
either.
If you have the list, you better have your life insurance paid up and your will made out, because you're going to die.
If that was the real list and
soon,
you
you're
put
gonna
that
die.
up there,
You are going to die real fast.
it's going to be like the Clinton. What was that? Arkansas Whitewater.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna be like the Whitewater investigation.
Right.
Hey, what happened to Johnny? Sayonara, baby.
So, all right. Well, I figured that'd take about a half hour, and we pretty much killed that. Speaking of scandals, and I didn't realize when I was making out this list, but I'm sitting here looking through it, and I see lots of scandals. Pediatrician in Texas gets, I mean, how stupid can you be? You know, we had the Houston floods, and all these kids, little kids, drown, and this idiot pediatrician goes on social media.
We can say her name.
Goes on social media.
What's her name?
And I don't know, effectively says, well, that's what you get for voting for Trump. So you get what you voted for. That cost her job in about 10 seconds. I mean, and she's not the only one who said that. It's just, you got to be kidding me.
No. And so did you see where she had her apology?
Which didn't go very well.
Here is her name. I'm pulling it up.
Yeah, I mean, the apology was basically
Dr. Christina Probst.
Yeah, Dr. Probst basically said, "I'm sorry if you were offended by me telling
it was
the
totally
truth."
a non-apology
You know,
apology.
Yeah, anytime you use the word "if" and an apology, you're just throwing gas on the fire.
Yeah, she was fired by it was a pretty large pediatric clinic that she worked for. But apparently, and I saw this was kind of some of the backlash that came after her apology. So because the internet just went nuts with her apology,
Right.
And rightly so, they pulled up, they dragged up all of these old tweets and posts
That
of
she'd
hers
done, yeah.
from Facebook that she had done during COVID.
Right.
Okay. And so during COVID, she had similar kind of ill will wishes towards, anyone
she's
that
warm and fuzzy.
wasn't wearing a mask,
Right.
anyone that didn't get vaccinated. She hoped that you suffered death and you were miserable and that she wasn't going to treat them at all. And of course, so she carries this left wing, insanity. I wish them, ill will. And of course, she tries to say that she wasn't saying that about the children, but she was 100% saying it about the children.
I mean, who else? Who are you saying about? The parents of the children? The other family members?
And then did you see the wife of the Texas minister?
No, I missed that.
Okay, so my daughter told me about this. So she's black. She's the wife of a Texas minister. He's a Unitarian Universalist or whatever. But he's a white minister and a very, it's a liberal. Why you got to do that? Come on. My face isn't even on there right.
Okay, I got this. This is what we were doing. I didn't think you would actually do it.
I'm just going to give dead air here.
This thing. Look, we're
live.
We're live when we're videoed, and Sean just couldn't be pleased with how close or how far away the camera was. And I told Daniel, you got to get it. Get an extreme close up so that we can see every pore, every whisker,
Jokers.
and so that went about as well as expected. And then I said, well, how low down can the camera migrate? And then things got really interesting. I said, just do that randomly during the show. So I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I instigated that.
Yeah,
I totally
okay.
botched your Unitarian minister's wife.
Anyway,
acting a fool.
She went on a rant basically and said, "Has anyone noticed that all of these victims are white Christian
I did hear that.
girls?"
Yeah.
There and basically said, "I don't care if they all die." And she's like, "I will not lose any sleep or drop a tear because of these white, these right wing." Basically, she called them Nazis, essentially, and she wanted nothing but harm on them. Of course, she doubled down when people on the internet went nuts, and then around the time that Christina Probst had her, apology, this minister was like, "Well, she's my girlfriend." He clarified that
not my wife.
Not my wife. And he said, our church does not agree with the things that she's saying. We're about love for all people, blah, 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 blah. Anyway, so I don't know if she's been fired or not, but whatever. There's just some wretched people out there that could ever wish that kind of harm on anyone. Crazy.
The internet is undefeated. Anything that you've ever done,
you're going to talk about the jockey race.
If it irritates enough people, it will catch up to you. I thought that was just weird. Sean sent me a video of a jockey race, which is a horse race without the horses, and it was basically jockeys dressed up in their silk somewhere in Latin America.
Can you play a video?
It was like running a 125-meter
sprint. I sent it to DTSM.
Yeah. I mean, it was just.
It's from.
Those guys running a race.
Yeah, it was
coming out of the horse starting gate, I guess you'd call it.
They came out of the starting gate. They were all in their jockey attire.
Right.
And essentially they were racing. It was like a 100-yard dash down the home stretch. I thought it was hilarious.
It was something I wouldn't want to see a lot of. I'll say that. Continuing on with our scandal-ridden podcast, I don't know if the name Luis Ortiz means anything to you. Maybe not. You don't follow baseball. Are you familiar with the idea of spot betting? Spot betting is the idea where you place a bet. With online gambling, you can bet on everything, right?
Right, in real time.
Yeah, in real time. So, if Aaron Judge comes up to the plate, you can place a bet that he's going to hit a home run, or you can place a bet that he's going to fly out to the right fielder, or, whatever. I mean, just almost.
I do follow baseball, but I'm not. I didn't catch this story.
Yeah, I mean, just in real time, you can place a bet on all these little events inside of the game, to the point where you can bet on the first pitch of the next inning is going to be a ball or a strike. Okay, so this is called micro betting. And Luis Ortiz is a pitcher for the Cleveland Guardians. Oh, by the way, it's the Cleveland Guardians, because God forbid you call them the Cleveland Indians, because that would be insensitive. Don't call them the Washington Redskins. Call them the Commanders, which is the most ridiculous.
I know we're totally derailing from your story, but
it's so stupid.
Supposedly there are efforts to change both the Cleveland Indians back and the Commanders back to the Redskins.
I mean,
have you seen this?
No. When they went to the Commanders, I thought, if you're going to pick a new name, pick something cool, and Commanders isn't it. But even worse is when Cleveland goes to the Guardians, and the reason that they picked the Guardians is because that's the best name that they could come up with that was as close to Indians as possible. Because they both words end with D-I-A-N-S, right? Indians and Guardians. That's how they picked the Guardians. You want to talk about the work of a committee.
That's some woke ass shit.
That's some kind of stupid. Anyway, Louis Ortiz, pitcher for the Guardians, on June 27 versus St. Louis, there was a spike in betting that he was going to throw that the first pitch of the third inning would be a ball. A spike in betting. And sure enough, his first pitch is a slider that's like 3 feet off the plate, which is egregious. I mean, he made sure that he missed it. And so that gets reported. Major League Baseball starts going back and looking through the tape and saying, where else has there been a spike in the spot betting? And they go back to June 15 versus Seattle. He did the exact same thing with the very first pitch of the game, which that was really obvious. And, they find this high correlation between spot betting, where there's just a jump in one particular really random
who are these people
small
betting?
Well, you go on to any of these online betting, name one, and you go online and you just start flipping through the game. And spot betting is where you're betting on something that doesn't control the outcome of the game.
Who's doing this actual betting that it's going to be the ball?
Apparently people who were in the know,
well, obviously,
and got tipped off, and so everybody who's in the know is piling up on this bet. And if you are a degenerate gambler and you see a lot of other people somehow loading up on this bet, what do you do when you go to a casino and somebody's hot? You ride their bet, right?
7 come 11, baby.
Yeah.
Daddy needs a new pair of shoes.
Yeah. And so all of a sudden, everybody in the world is betting on this, and it pays off and pays off spectacularly because he missed so bad on both pitches. What is our
wonderful commissioner of the MLB, what has he done?
It's an investigation. He's on leave until after the All-Star break, which basically
they
starts
put him
now.
on leave.
They put him on leave while there's an investigation, because how do you prove that somebody got to him? Damned if I know. It's in the 1919 White Sox scandal, Black Sox scandal. They were able to, people actually confessed.
There's always someone that will flip.
Yeah, you wonder how seriously they're going to take this. But anyway,
guarantee it's mob related. Seriously.
You think?
Absolutely.
I just think it's somebody that got to Luis and said, here's a way that we can make you a lot of money. And what I couldn't find was the amount of dollars that were involved in these bets. We talking about the online bettors losing 50,000, 100,000. Is it $1 million? I don't know.
Well, clearly their investigation, they're going to look into his finances.
Sure.
And so if he sees,
which they'll never find, because it won't be him. It'll be his cousin in, Puerto Rico or something, someplace where they have no jurisdiction to look into.
Well, first of all,
here we go.
If you're going to be that blatant and breaking the law, right? Chances are you're not that intelligent. And chances are you probably didn't think you would ever get caught. And you probably have a check made out to you that you deposited into your account. Criminals are dumb. Most criminals are stupid.
Well, he got away with it the first time. And then he came back less than 2 weeks later. And basically the
greed
same spot
gets you every time, baby.
Time. What is it about pigs eat and hogs get slaughtered? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, there you go. Well, sad times.
What other?
I had a note from last week that I had really wanted to get into, especially because we talked about the big, beautiful bill.
Got some scandal on that.
Not a scandal, but a breakup. How do you explain the Elon divorce from Trump, which I thought was really weird because they were really going after each other, hammer and tongs. And
but Musk still supports, I would say, the overwhelming majority of what Trump and the Republican Party are doing right now. So, yes, he's mad at him about the cuts or the lack of cuts or the spending or whatever. It almost feels like that's just pretextual, that there really is something else.
My thought on it was he was really committed to, we're going to have some fiscal discipline. I'm going to go in with Doge and we're going to start cutting the fat. It's going to be a long project, but by God, we're going to cut the fat. We're going to cut the deficit. We're going to rein in spending. And then when this bill comes out, that's, as bad as it was, he thought, what am I doing here? And especially when the bill was cutting the EV credits, which is kind of how Tesla makes a living, is from the EV credits. It's like, what am I doing here?
On the EV credits, I thought both of them acknowledged that they knew it wasn't going to be in the bill and that there was no issue with that.
Don't know.
My understanding was that Trump said he knew about it and was okay with it. And I thought Elon said, I did know about it, and this isn't about that. So, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I doubt that. I think EV goes to the heart of Tesla, and Tesla is kind of close to his heart. So, I wondered about that. Other things that I saw on the internet, because I had been reading that, but that's kind of an old story now. Let's see, movies, the Superman movie, kind of a scandal, kind of woke, kind of like the Snow White thing.
Is it really woke? Have you seen it, Danny? I think
heard two
people
versions.
are wanting to make it woke, but it's really not.
I've heard two versions of the scandal, and it's not going well. It's not doing as poorly as Snow White, but doing pretty poorly.
What are you talking about? It had 133 million domestically, and for this opening weekend, and it beat any prior Superman opening.
No.
Oh yeah.
No.
It kicked ass this weekend. So I think a lot of it was, the only real thing was, oh well, Superman's an immigrant, blah blah blah. I think that was just. I think that was like red meat to the current issue du jour. I mean,
always is.
The truth of the matter is that James Gunn, and if you don't know who James Gunn is, who directed it, James Gunn had been one of the major and main directors for the Marvel movies. And of course, the creme de la creme of his movies was Guardians of the Galaxy, which...
Was that good?
Oh, hell yes.
You really like that?
100%. It's up there, one of the top, movies out there in the Marvel universe. And then, he helped kind of reinvigorate Thor, who had really kind of had lost his shimmer early on in the MCU, Marvel
shimmer
in the Marvel universe. But when they brought in this comedic element that was very smartly written, it was acted really, expertly, and the movie just hit on all cylinders. And he did a number of movies for MCU. Well, so if you don't follow any of these superhero movies, so obviously you have Marvel Comics, and you have DC for DC Comics. And so the DCU has been for the last 25 years, that is DC Comics Universe or DC Universe, has been abysmal. I'm talking horrible. Their movies have been flop after flop after flop. There's no continuity between the characters. The storylines that goes between all of the movies, they're disjointed. They couldn't ever, they couldn't get anyone to really follow it. And of course, if you may recall, in the MCU, they had, of course, Infinity War and Endgame, which was basically a back-to-back movie that culminated the first 20-plus movies of the Marvel, universe, so to speak.
Just put it all together.
It was a huge, long storyline, and so I think I don't remember the exact number, but the final one, Endgame, I think it became the highest grossing movie ever. It's right up there
What?
with, it's
Really?
right. Oh yeah, it's right up. It's well over $1 billion, and it's right up there with Titanic. I mean, it's so
Really?
they were just killing DC, and so DC, of course, has Superman, Batman, and there's always another Batman redo, always another Superman redo. They couldn't get out of their own way, so to speak, and so they decided, the people that make the DC movies, they decided, we're going to go get the star or one of the stars of the Marvel universe, and that's James Gunn, and we're going to get him to come in and take our flagship character, if you will, Superman, and really reboot the entire DC universe. And so, I mean, everyone that follows it, myself included, but I mean, knew that he was going to come in and he was going to put a superb product out there. I anticipate going to see the movie, which will be the first. It'll be the first DC movie I've gone to see in the theaters in probably 15 years, just because I know that James Gunn is that good at it. So when I saw all the nonsense and noise earlier this week about the Superman being a migrant from the planet Krypton, I thought, well, that's just silly. I mean, he's not going to say anything nice about Trump, and he didn't. You don't expect him to. But it certainly wasn't like...
Let's go see it.
It certainly wasn't like Snow White.
Week.
I mean, Snow White, the whole movie was woke. I mean, everything in the movie was woke.
I want to see the Snow White movie just to...
I mean,
just
Snow
to
White
see
herself was not a white person, which Snow White was, her skin was white as snow. I mean, so...
No, she was the fairest of them all.
Right. And so they totally took Snow White and made her no longer the fairest of them all. I mean, so...
She was the fairest of them all because she was fair.
Well, right. But,
anyway.
Which is fine. I'm just saying they changed the whole story. Here, they haven't really changed anything about Superman. They've told a very compelling story.
Let's go. Let's pick an evening and we'll go see the Superman movie, and I'll just grunt and groan and go, oh my God, this is awful. The entire time.
Are you a movie guy?
Worse? Oh yeah, I go to the movies all the time.
Well, you want to go see the
F1? I know
F1?
you're going to say yeah. I'll go see F1 with you.
I really want to go see it before it leaves the theater. I want to see it in the theater. And I've heard just phenomenal things about how the director was able to really capture the essence of being in a car from a driver perspective. And so, they actually had 10 minutes of racing and filming of racing with Brad Pitt driving the car at the beginning of an actual F1 race 2 years ago. Did you know that?
No.
Yes. So they went to an actual F1 race, and they told everyone there, we're going to delay the start of our race, and they are going to have some cars on the track, and they're going to be filming a movie about F1. Brad Pitt's going to be in there. And so
they went about 45 miles an hour around the track, and then he crashed out in 45 seconds.
No. I mean, he trained to do it. And there's been a lot of interviews with him and the young actor who plays his kind of arch rival. They both learned how to drive the vehicles, and I think he said he hit 180 somewhere around there, 185 in one.
That's
impressive.
That's jarring. Yeah. I want to do the thing where you get in the Porsche. I think there's a Porsche track in Atlanta or outside of Atlanta.
There's one in Birmingham.
In Birmingham, maybe. Yeah, where I don't know if you get to drive it or you just get to ride with a driver.
No. You
get to drive it.
Well, if you buy a Porsche, you can go over there and
race it, and race your car and your insurance
100%.
On their track.
You can go.
I don't want to buy a Porsche. I just want to drive one.
They'll take you and they'll test you. They'll train you or whatever so that you can do it. I have a friend that's done it and does it. He goes over there. But then, of course, you can go to most of these, NASCAR tracks, and you can rent, if you will, time in a car where they take you out there. Now, you're not actually driving a cup car. You're driving like, the Infinity series or the Nationwide series, the lower series, the cars are tempered. I mean, maybe you do 150 miles an hour. You're not really hitting 200 miles an hour.
Well, what I'm thinking, I'm going to get my start when they shut down I-55. I'm just going to take my car and see if I can drag race there. And if I'm good enough, I can work my way up to Birmingham in a Porsche. And then, who knows where it goes after that. Eventually I'm in the F1 movie.
Yes. Well, maybe.
I mean, you gotta have a dream.
Tom Cruise is in the process of
not another one.
Days of Thunder.
Another one?
Yes.
God. Okay.
Now, the ability to film when they filmed the original Days of Thunder is far more superior today than it was then.
That's a 30-year-old movie, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. It came out in like 1989.
Ooh, even longer, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was really where Nicole Kidman made her start. But I was recently listening to an interview with Dale Earnhardt Jr. talking about when his dad met with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise came and visited with him, hung out with him for a long time. He wanted Dale Earnhardt to actually drive in the movie and play Rowdy Burns, who is, Tom Cruise's character was Cole Trickle, which was a play in part on the actual race car driver Dick Trickle. Which haven't we talked about Dick Trickle?
Let's not talk about any.
Do you know for years, I'm talking like 20 plus years, every single time ESPN would give race news for NASCAR. So Dick Trickle was never really a top 10 driver.
Is that his name?
Yes.
Really?
So, I mean, you would have Scott Van Pelt or, Dan Patrick. They'd be like, Dale Earnhardt, won again, and, Ricky Rudd was second, and Jeff Bodine was third, and Dick Trickle was 38th. And so they didn't
miss a chance.
They did not miss a chance. Dick Trickle, no matter what position he was in, which was always in the 30s, was always like Dick Trickle came in, or Dick Trickle did not finish or whatever. But so Cole Trickle was the character and played by Tom Cruise, and so his rival in there was Rowdy Burns, and Rowdy drove a black Exxon, and back during that time, Dale Earnhardt was the only one who had the black car. He had the black GM Goodwrench, and he was called the Intimidator, and he was the only black car out there, and everyone, he had this tough guy image, right?
Sure. Oh yeah, very much so.
And so he really wanted Dale to race in the movie and act in the movie, and Dale politely said, "I'm not an actor. I'm a race car driver, and I'm not going to do that."
Yeah, but all he had to do was have some dialogue and just be Dale Earnhardt.
That's right. So, but they brought in Michael. They brought in Michael Rooker, who did a phenomenal job playing Rowdy Burns, and was just great. And so, I actually rewatched the movie not long ago after I found out that it was going to be. They're going to do another one.
I don't need another Days of Thunder. I didn't need the Top Gun movie.
Oh, did you see the Top Gun movie?
Oh, it was so bad.
What are you talking about?
It was a Star Wars reboot.
No,
yes, it was.
I thought that the second Top Gun movie was better than the first.
Wow.
It was so well done.
I'm really scared of going to the F1 movie with you now, because I can already tell you're gonna love it. I'm gonna hate it. And
now look, if a movie sucks, I will tell you a movie sucks.
What's the last movie you saw that you thought sucked?
Well, you're just asking me to pick one.
All right. Yeah.
I mean,
all right. That's not fair to ask you on the fly. What's the suckiest movie you ever saw?
Oh, there's a lot of terrible movies out there. I will tell you this: have you ever had a movie that you just absolutely that you knew just sucked? The movie sucked, but you love the movie.
Oh no!
You've never had a movie like that?
I was expecting a different question. I was expecting, did you ever have a movie that was just so bad that you walked out? I thought that was the question and I was locked and loaded to say Sweet Home Alabama. I walked out 15 minutes into that movie. I thought, this is going to suck.
Reese Witherspoon.
Oh, it was so bad.
I watched it at home.
A movie that I thought was going to suck, but somehow I got lured into it, was Raising Arizona, which was
that's up there in the
wonderful.
top 5
yeah, which
of
was
all
wonderful.
time.
I mean, it was one of those deals where I was like, it's got that long introduction before it goes to the opening credits, and I was just
Joel and Ethan Coen.
Yeah,
I mean,
I'm looking at my
they were
friend.
at their
I'm going,
prime.
what in the hell did you bring me to?
Oh,
So
John Goodman and Nicolas Cage. That movie, it is one of the most quotable movies out there.
It is.
In terms of comedies, you have like that. You have Caddyshack. You have Airplane.
Right.
You have Naked Gun. I mean, that's up there in the top 5 comedies of all time, in my opinion.
I can also brag, if this is a brag, to say I'm probably one of 5 people in the world who actually saw Ishtar at the movie theater.
No, Ishtar sucked.
It was one. It was
horrible.
I just sat through the whole thing because, kind of as a practical joke on myself, I'm like, I'm going to make myself watch this god awful film.
I'll tell you a movie that I saw in the movie theater that was one of the worst movies, not to mention it was a remake of a really great movie that was shot in the 70s, and that was Midway. The actor that plays the main character in there had buck teeth. He had a terrible accent. It had terrible cinematography. The special effects were just an abomination of special effects in this day and age. The storyline was changed from the original Midway. And basically, they tried to take the original Midway movie. You remember it had Charleston Heston, William Holden. I mean, it had all these great actors, right? And then they came in with this Midway, and it was horrible. The movie bombed, by most standards. It did not do great, and because it was terrible. So I'll call a movie terrible if it's terrible. But I will say this, and my daughter and I, Sydney, she's a big movie buff too, but we were laughing the other day because, she and I like to sometimes watch rom-coms together. And so there's some good ones and there's some bad ones.
There are some bad ones.
There's some really cheesy ones. Well, one of my all-time favorite rom-coms that I love, which the critics hate, but I don't care, I've seen it like 20 times, is Leap Year with Amy Adams and a Scottish actor that's in there. It's so great. I love it. And anyway, Sydney likes it too. It's just a lot of fun. But, there are movies like that I think, for whatever reason, capture your attention. You really get sucked into it. You like it. Maybe you like the actor. You kind of think the movie is cheesy, but whatever. But you still like it. So anyway.
Well, that's a preview for next week, and I'll go ahead and say you're going to love F1. I'm going to hate it, and we'll just have a debate. If we really want to try, we'll hit the Superman movie too, and probably the same reaction. People keep telling me I'm negative. I don't see it, but
I will tell you. You know what I did this week?
Man, come on, man.
You know what I did this week? So obviously, I have a home theater, which was really the single selling point when I looked at this house, because I was like,
I see that. I can
yeah, I mean,
can dig that.
More
than a pool.
When Sarah and I had looked at a ton of houses, when we got there, Sarah was down there with the realtor. They were all downstairs. I could hear them. I walked in a few minutes after they got there. So they were downstairs. I was like, I'm staying out of that conversation. So I immediately went upstairs. I had not a single clue that the house had a movie theater.
Did you start crying?
So I walked upstairs. The very first room that I went into was the movie theater.
There it was.
I mean, carpeted. It had black walls. It had a sound system, a drop-down projector, a huge screen.
That was it.
It had the recliner seats. And I was like, are you effing kidding me? I go, this house is totally my number one right now. And ultimately we got it. But so the other day I've had this plan, and I've been trying to come up with how I want to decorate the walls in my movie theater with I'm going to do reprints. I'm not going to go too crazy, but I'm going to do
movie posters.
Old movie posters. And so Friday I started putting some posters. I figured out the size that I want, the particular size of the movie theater print, because you can get them all different sizes.
Sure.
But I want a particular size, and then I haven't figured out how I'm going to frame them yet, but I'm going to order all the prints, and so I've made my list. And you mentioned Raising Arizona. Raising Arizona is on the list.
There you go.
And so some of the other movies that are on the list are the Star Wars, Jaws, The Good, the Bad, the Ugly, Goodfellas, The Godfather. So I only have 2. What I tried to do is I tried to get great directors that I love, and also, iconic movies, but not just the great directors, but great actors as well. So like The Good, the Bad, the Ugly was Sergio Leone and, Clint Eastwood. And it's really the movie that kind of put him on the map. Sure. And so, and then, you had, I haven't decided whether I'm going to have 2 Spielberg movies, because he's got a number of movies that,
He's done okay.
Yes, he has. So, I had Jaws. Well, then it was like, well, do I want Raiders of the Lost Ark? But, because I don't really have Harrison Ford on there, even though I have a Star Wars on there. And, of course, I love Harrison Ford. And then so I haven't come up with the final list yet. But when I get the final list, I'll certainly report it to you and see if you can give me yays or nays.
I will eviscerate it for you.
I'm sure you will. I'm sure you will.
That's my gift to the world.
Yes.
Well, we're about out of time, so appreciate everybody tuning in.
Thanks for the close-up, by the way. Appreciate it. Well,